you literally meet 1,000 people in 2 hours.
The Chosen has been like the greatest teacher, I think, for all of us.
I personally, needed God's help to do this role.
We focus on the heart and the intimacy of the relationships.
Shmuel may actually feel that Jesus is a false prophet.
So you've been with Dallas since the beginning, right? You've been in every single project that he's ever done.
Yep.
So what is it about him that makes you stick with him for so long?
What is it about Dallas? Well, first of all, I love him. He's an amazing man. He's always made content that I think has great value. No one was paying attention 25 years ago, trust me. We were making short films and other feature films, and no one really noticed. But I just think he has a great heart. He has a great eye for storytelling, and he loves Jesus. He loves stories about Jesus. So, bottom line is, he's an amazing human being, a good human being. And I love hanging out with good human beings.
No, that's awesome. So your experience playing Gaius on The Chosen, since it's such an intimate project, intimate experience, how has playing Gaius kind of shaped developed your faith journey, and how has your faith journey kind of developed your character as Gaius, or vice versa? How does that relationship work?
I think, well, I was talking about this yesterday at the convention, at CHOSENCON here, and I think the biggest reality is I'm German, and I'm meticulous, and I like to be in control and have order and discipline with my life. But I think Gaius has taught me about surrender, and to surrender to a power much higher than myself, God, Jesus. People call it many different things, everyone has their own name, but to let go and to trust, so to surrender, so basically to get on my knees.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Isn't it crazy that we're just here at CHOSENCON? How far it's come?
We have these things called meet and greets, where you literally meet 1,000 people in 2 hours.
That's great.
Can you imagine meeting 1,000? It's very. I did it last CHOSENCON, but it's intense. But it's fantastic. Everyone here is nice and kind and wonderful and supportive. So it's just a house full of love, basically.
You were almost in a Marvel movie. You were on set, you filmed a scene. So how does kind of the Marvel community and the Marvel space compare to The Chosen? What's the difference for the dynamic there?
Yeah, that was such a cool experience getting to work on Wakanda Forever. I am such a Marvel nerd. So just getting to be a small part of it, that, even if it was just in the deleted scenes, was such a dream. But I feel like one thing I was pleasantly surprised by is how it still felt like a smaller thing. It was obviously on these huge sets, it was at the Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. You're working with big actors, a big director, but then it felt small, like in the sense that everyone was really kind, everyone was really collaborative. There was room for improvisation. It was really cool. But I think the thing that I took with me from The Chosen was being able to have a voice. Before, I was just so, and I'm still grateful for every role I have, but I was so grateful for every role, but I don't feel like I felt I deserved them. I felt like I had gotten lucky, and that I needed to just make everyone happy around me in order to, keep the job, be a yes man. That's kind of what I did in the past. And then after being on The Chosen, since we've gotten so comfortable with one another, I have grown more confident in my voice when it comes to like, hey, I need a moment, or give me 5 so I can go get into the place I need to be, like, mentally, or asking something about like my hair or makeup if there's a preference or something like that. So there were a few moments doing that where I'd stumble over a line early on. I'd be like, hey, can we go back? And before I would have been too nervous to ask if we can go back. So yeah, The Chosen has been like the greatest teacher, I think, for all of us in that regard.
What's little James up to in this season? What's he going through? What's he doing?
Yeah, season 5. Little James, he got his answer from Jesus a couple years ago about why he hasn't been healed. then season 4, we see that physically he's not only not getting healed, but he's getting worse. And there's a little more of the same in season 5. Little James is at a place of acceptance where he accepts what Jesus told him, that you're not getting healed in this life. But that doesn't mean he has to like it or understand it. And I think that's where he's at right now. He accepts it, he trusts it, and he still believes, but he's frustrated, he's scared, he's confused. His one of his best friends, Thomas, is grieving. Little James, like Ramo, was close to the whole group. Little James lost a friend too. Things are getting real, and I think little James is, while confused, he's committed and he's there along for the ride, and we'll see where that takes him.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm excited to see how little James met Jesus in season 5. That's gonna be fun too.
Yeah, same. It was fun, exploring that side of little James. So I'm excited for fans to see it.
Mary Magdalene has kind of been seeing a little more than the other disciples, maybe noticing a little more, and she kind of is maybe starting to anticipate maybe what's coming. So what is kind of her journey looking like this season? What's she?
Okay, so season 4, I feel like season 4 is the first time she just kind of lets go fully of her past and really focuses on what's going on with the group. There's so many tragic events that happen that she's familiar with grief and the darkness, and she's processing it in a different way than the others. And I think she carries that with her into season 5, with this sort of maybe premonition of what's to come. And so there's like this bittersweetness to the entry into the city. Everyone's celebrating, but she also knows something else might be happening soon. And I think she transitions into a more determined version of herself and a more maybe confident version, where she has a goal in season 5 and she is determined to get it and to help things. And we see, I think, her develop this characteristic that we're familiar with of this traditional version of Mary Magdalene, this dedicated follower who's there to the very end. And I think in season 5 is when we start seeing that.
That's awesome. How have you felt being here at CHOSENCON with all these people and all the excitement and all the energy? What's kind of like just the feeling that you're getting to buy?
It's so much fun. It's so sweet. Everyone I've met has been wonderful. It's nice to be able to celebrate with the cast and crew. I mean, I can't believe it's been 5 seasons already, and we're like more than halfway done. So, it's wonderful the crowds are enormous and kind of hard to comprehend, but a lot of really exciting things happening for the chosen world, and it's it's lovely to celebrate with everyone.
The chosen cinematic universe.
Seriously, it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, very exciting. Bear Grylls as well, very excited to see that.
Yeah, that was fun.
So, you were stunt double in a Marvel movie, but that's a completely different fandom, maybe one of the biggest kind of spaces in this creative cinema industry, and The Chosen is competing in that, and they're quickly becoming also one of the biggest, in the space. You've been in both. What is kind of maybe the difference from the fan base or the creative side, or just working and how you feel? What would you say makes The Chosen maybe different? Why does it stand out from other things in this creative cinematic industry?
Oh, there's so many differences. This is a historical drama. Like, we're talking about history. In Marvel, it's all imaginary, and it's like sky's the limit, but at the same time, it's all imaginary. So we're not actually bound to the same sense of responsibility when it comes to telling the story. So there's a different heart to it. Obviously, we're talking about things here that are very meaningful to people, and when it comes to the Marvel universe, it's meaningful in a transposed way. So people identify to some values, but it's sci-fi, or it's very different. It's very different. The result of it, like that, we have a proximity with the fan base that is very different. Also because of the system of this show. Like this show is supported directly by the fans, as opposed to Marvel, where it's a studio and the fans are fans, but like there's like a very different relationship. I guess that's pretty much what I'm seeing, and there's a lot of it's a lot of entertainment and action and CGI and all a lot of means that we don't focus on with The Chosen. We focus on the heart and the intimacy of the relationships and the feelings. And this is sounding horrible because it sounds like I'm saying Marvel doesn't have it. It doesn't focus on feelings. They do, and they do it really well. But again, it lands differently. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I think there's a big difference. And just here at CHOSENCON, you can feel the difference when the connection, the family. That's here. No, I think you're totally right about that. So, how have you kind of felt that here? Have you felt that kind of energy from the people who talk to you? This connection, this intimacy with the people.
Well, people still come at me and make comments about toughness and like kind of like superhero kind of vocabulary or semantic, and it's and of course they do, because my character has carries that little portion of what you usually see in other pieces in The Chosen. But usually people come at me with comments on the wisdom and the sense of acceptance that the character is inspiring them, and so it really feels good when I hear that, because it means that we're doing something right, and I'm doing something right with my little piece of the puzzle. But yeah, overall, there's a great sense of communion and family that we really feel, and everyone is down to earth, and we're all looking towards humility and wisdom and all of those essential values that we don't get lost in translation, however big this show gets, which is reassuring.
You in season 4 of The Chosen, you had a scene where you're very angry, you're crying intensely, very intense scene, and great performance on your part. And you have another scene, turn around, where you're crying out of complete, absolute joy, and you're just overwhelmed with happiness. So, kind of, as an actor, how do you get into those kind of scenes?
As an actor, the right answer is a lot of preparation and a lot of reading the text, and our writers obviously gave us beautiful text, and they pulled from beautiful source material. So that was not really the challenge, but it was getting it into your body and having that visceral reaction, which is just gut-wrenching emotion, and also joy, right? This all comes from really, truly her inner being, experiencing all those things. And I personally, needed God's help to do this role. I listened to a lot of worship music when I was preparing, and I was praying on set constantly. So for me, it was definitely a journey with God to create what we got on camera.
That's awesome. Yeah. But you do also create your own music as well.
Yes.
You do your own stuff. So what kind of, outside of season 5 or The Chosen, what kind of other things do you have going on, or what's next kind of for you in your creative journey?
Yes, I'm currently collaborating with a few different music groups, and we're writing songs together, tracking them, and you guys will be seeing some things coming out on Instagram and all the other socials. And right now, Lighthouse is out on Spotify, so you guys can listen on all streaming platforms for that. So stay tuned, more coming.
In season 4, at the end, we kind of saw you getting closer to Jesus, and then you had this big, drastic change. So what's kind of Shmuel feeling? What are we going to see more of in season 5? Can you tease kind of what's next for Shmuel and his thought process?
Well, first it's Shmuel.
Yeah. Okay.
And don't feel bad, because people get it wrong all the time. I didn't come up with the name. I was given this role, but it's now my burden in life to try to tell people that it's Shmuel.
All right. I'll stay in the kitchen, you stay in the laundry.
People don't have a hard time saying Yanni or Judas, but Shmuel is a tougher. But anyway, so at the end of season 4, we saw Shmuel very open-minded and wanting to confirm whether Jesus Jesus claims to be the Messiah, claims to be Elijah. And when he saw something happen that was just so far over the line of what he was raised to think is appropriate, at that moment he just, I think, was triggered and could not continue that conversation. If you remember, he didn't leave threatening to say, I'm going to tell on you all that you're doing this. He just said, we can't be found out to have seen this and done nothing about it. So better to remove ourselves from the situation and let these people keep doing what they're doing. But, you know, I just saw a woman call him God while touching his feet, which is not appropriate for how we've been doing things, you know. And Shmuel is a rule follower. He was trained to follow Torah, and not just the written, but the oral tradition. And Jesus often said, it's not written anywhere, that's just a tradition. But for Shmuel, that's how knowledge has been passed down through generation, is through written and oral means. So it's hard to say one is more valid than the other to the way that Shmuel was raised. So in season 5, we see that Shmuel may actually feel that Jesus is a false prophet, and what is he trying to do to protect his community?
I hear, as I've read, your parents studied in the theater and the arts and the entertainment. So what's kind of that experience like for you, being brought up in kind of this theater world, entertaining, acting space?
I spent a lot of my childhood on theater stages with my dad, either when he was pursuing his higher education in theater, and I've been wanted to be an actor, you know, since I could remember, just, you know, obviously because of my paternal influence. And it's always been ingrained in our house. And my father was kind of like a cinephile, and, you know, he was more of a conservative person, but like artistically, he's like everything goes. So I was watching, you know, all kinds of films at such a young age, you know. So yeah, I've always been embedded in the film and television artistic side of things, you know.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm excited to see you guys both in season 5. Maybe some future projects. Maybe if some of your characters continue and stuff to maybe become more. But yeah, that's great. You both are great performances as our Pharisees, and you guys kind of play them with complex characters. You know, that they're not just villains. But you both do a great job.
Yeah, how much does he shine in season 4? Huh? Seriously though.
Yeah. So you've been kind of with The Chosen since season 1, the beginning. So how is it for you to kind of watch this all grow and blossom into all that it's become?
Oh my gosh, I am a mega fan of The Chosen. So I mean, obviously I was a part of season 1 and 2, but since then I have just been. I'm over here going. I'm surrounded by these people who I am in love with. I admire. Not only have I gotten to see them behind the scenes, but now to see how their characters are just journeying and just the beautiful work that these actors are doing. It's amazing. So I'm in. You know, not only am I here saying I love The Chosen, but I'm a mega fan. So this has been incredible to just be a part and see how this has taken off. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. How have you felt the love here as you've been here at CHOSENCON, and all the people who it feels like just one big family, the intimacy, the connection? How do you feel that here?
The fans are phenomenal. I mean, and I'm always on my way somewhere, and having to go to the next thing, so it's hard to check in. But I do love it when the fans come up and want to get a quick picture and want to say something. So I've had people come up and just have said such heartfelt, beautiful things to me that have just been really moving. So, I mean, that's really what this is about. It's about giving back to the fans and thanking them for all of their support. And I'm just so grateful to have those chances to connect one-on-one, to give a big hug, to really look into their eyes and say thank you. This means the world to us. Yeah.